Happy Friday. It's actually Tuesday. I'm just shooting a bunch of the videos because it makes sense to do that this week. So this is a movement game for Friday. All it requires are some objects that you can easily place on the floor. I have some poker chips. It could be coins, pen caps, wine corks, any number of things. They're not going to like blow around or move too much. And we're going to take them, and from your position, you're just going to drop them around in no particular pattern. In fact, the more varied, the better. And I don't know, I think I have probably 10 to 12 or 15 of these. The number is not important, just that you have some kind of varied array. You're not going to try and place it in any one area. This is a game that was inspired by a friend out in Brooklyn. He did something similar. I was playing with it the other day, and I thought of this variation. I thought it'd be cool to share with you guys. So here's what it looks like. What we're going to do after you've dropped all these pieces around is I want you to kind of pick a place. And ideally it's arbitrary because we're going to do this several times. But I'm choosing this location right here. And the idea would be we're going to balance on your foot. And I want you to take the other foot, and for now, let's just say maybe the ball of your foot or the bottom of your toe, and we're just going to gently slide kind of circular motions. And the idea is to be able to make circles or kind of like swoops around each of these poker chips, or coins as it may be, in as smooth and kind of uninterrupted of a flow as you can. I'm going to struggle with this, I'm sure, on the video as I try and talk, but the idea would be you kind of like spot out the lay of the land. You can see some over here are going to be the most challenging, over here might be easy, and maybe you just start nice and smooth with the easy ones. Doesn't have to be every single one without making any repeating, but get a good feel for like the friction of the floor, what it requires to get the balance. And I want you to just try and trace circles around these objects, the lightest graze of your foot possible. As you're feeling like you've got the patterns down pretty well, you can maybe start to reach for some of the more challenging ones. But the job is for you to find a way to do this without falling over as best you can and keep the general spirit of it alive. As best you can for, we'll say, 90 seconds per side. So I'm going to try and give it the full focus here. I see some chips behind me that I haven't really hit yet before. I'm going to do my best to reach back there and make the nice circle. I wouldn't say this is the most pleasant surface for bare feet. If you have tile or wood flooring, that might be ideal. Even carpet could be nice if you don't give yourself a carpet burn. But the idea would be to just continually trace these circles around the objects that you've chosen and really challenge yourself to figure out, okay, that one back there is pretty darn hard. Is there a way to do it successfully? Maybe it's not quite as smooth as the others, but once you figure it out, can you work it into the mix of just like a continual flow? After the minute and a half is up, then we'll switch legs and maybe find a new position, and the game begins anew. So, start tracing some circles. Do your best not to actually make contact with the objects. Just trying to keep the game alive. Doing your best not to avoid the challenging ones. Finding a way to make it all happen. So way back there, got it. You can celebrate your small victories. If you can cheer yourself on when you're by yourself, I think you're winning for that day. But again, 90 seconds on the other side. Here's where it can get kind of unique to you. I challenge you to go through each leg here maybe 2 to 3 times. But maybe after you've done both sides and you're tracing it with your toe or the ball of your foot, maybe you try the heel. So same thing. Set up maybe somewhere else. And we're just going to do the same game, trying to lightly trace your heel around everything. Subtly different, but different nonetheless. It's just a different sensation to get used to, and how you orient your body is going to be altered that way. So maybe you go through each side tracing with your heel, and then if you're getting real crafty or real ambitious, let's try the same thing, balancing on the foot that you're going to be working from, and maybe you trace with your hand. So we're getting down here, we're trying to just keep from falling over as we lightly trace around each of the objects. I'd say talking and doing it at the same time is out of the question, but the idea is exactly the same. Stand up anytime you need to, and we're trying to find a way to solve the puzzle from wherever you're standing. I want you to be able to lightly trace circles around it with your hand. So, finding all of these. So on and so forth. And like I said, the goal is kind of twofold. You want to try and keep the circular motion alive, kind of uninterrupted, but as you find the troubling or the more challenging pieces, try and solve, okay, how do I actually get to that? Maybe a little bit more segmented, may not be quite as much of a flow, but if you do figure it out, and when you do figure it out, try and incorporate it into the full mix of the equation. So if we go 90 seconds on your left, 90 seconds on your right, toe, heel, and hand. What is that? 9 total minutes of work, something around there. So yeah, between maybe 9 and 15 minutes, just kind of goofing around. You can go a minute and a half on, and then take the time off and let your partner or a friend go, or maybe your kids. Make it fun, make it interesting. If you find any other variations, like maybe tracing with your elbow, I dare you. Let me know what you do. Enjoy!